Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we are diving into some wild financial decision people are making online. So I guess the purpose of this video is to take a look at other people's financial mistakes and hopefully we can all learn something from it and avoid those mistakes ourselves. So let's get into it.
What's a bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Opening up a credit card at 18 years old.
Yeah.
1000%. I just paid that off actually like 2 days ago. I'm 23 years old.
Oh,
So yeah, that was the worst financial decision, I would say.
What was like stuff you were purchasing?
Random honestly. Like I was 18, I was fresh in college. I was buying Lord knows what with no actual money.
Yeah, that's such a common trap that I'm seeing. You turn 18 and the banks are ready to hand you a shiny piece of plastic and you don't really understand what that even means yet. And without a job or a real income, it's way too easy just to swipe for random stuff and think, I'll figure it out later. And what they don't tell you is that the interest stack up fast. A $20 pizza or maybe a $50 Target run can definitely end up costing you double by the time you actually pay it off. And then you spend years digging yourself out just like she did. And honestly, it's one of those things that I wish school actually taught, like how credit card works, how dangerous it can be if you don't use it responsibly, and how to build it the right way. Because a lot of people, their very first credit card is also their first financial mistake.
I didn't have a job, but I had a credit card. So yeah, no.
And then what credit card was this?
It was a Wells Fargo credit card. It was like their college credit card. So of course I got approved for that shit. Of course.
And you're just now paying it off like
Just now paying it
4
off.
years?
I f***ing graduated last year and I just now paid that shit off.
Parents didn't help out or nothing?
I didn't ask for them to. It was my financial burden, so I wanted to be the one to pay it off.
Would you say you're a self-sufficient lady?
Oh, 1000%. I don't rely on nobody.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And what do we do for a living?
I'm a leasing agent.
Are you a leasing agent?
Yes, I'm a leasing agent, yes.
And credit card company know exactly what they are doing. They target young college student because they know that we don't fully understand credit card yet, and they approve you with a little to no income because the second you mess up, you are trapped paying off that ridiculous interest, and it's very super predatory.
Do you know the biggest, worst financial mistake I've ever made? Financing a car. Why didn't I listen to my dad when I sold my first car that he kindly bought for me and put that money down on a deposit on a finance car? He literally said, you're more or less stuck now, unless you want to pay like a balloon payment at the end, which is like $7,000. Why did I do it? Because the irony is, that particular car got written off. Then, silly me, got this huge insurance payout and put that money down on an even more expensive car. But only me can pay their monthly payments back on my salary. I don't have a salary right now because I'm on maternity leave, which means a huge chunk of money of my maternity pay is going on a car that just sits and runs me to and from Morrison's or to my mum and dad's.
Yeah, financing a brand new car is one of those mistakes so many people make, and it hits hard. Like, your first car was already paid for, no monthly payment, just maintenance and insurance and gas. And that's a blessing most people would kill for. Selling that just to put money down on a more expensive car, and that's just how you just lock yourself into years of payment and interest on something that is losing value the moment you drive it off the lot. And that's the thing, right? Cars are not investment. They're more of liability, and people see it differently, but that's my own personal take. And a new car might feel nice, but basically you're just buying yourself a monthly headache. Imagine if that money had gone into saving or investment instead. She could have been way ahead of financially. It shows you how dangerous lifestyle creep is, and once you get a taste of something nicer, you convince yourself that you need it, even though it doesn't make sense financially.
And it's not even a brand new car, it's a 2018 plate, but it's costing me an absolute fortune. And I'm just so pissed off with myself. Here I am, literally, I emailed them on Monday to see if they could get me a cheaper car. Because as I've gotten older, I've realised that actually, who cares if you haven't got a flash car? I'm 23 years old, I don't need a flash car. The worst part is I literally look back and the insurance payout that I got could have been like a 5% house deposit. But here we are renting. Honestly, I wish that my dad could control my bank account. It actually makes me feel sick. I could be in such a different position right now. Thank God I paid extra for gap insurance, because it literally paid off my finance for the car that got written off, and then I just got the remaining lump sum back. And I still look at it now and I'm like, why? Why did I use that money to get another car on finance, an expensive car on finance? I literally could have put money down on a house, on a 5% deposit. Don't get me wrong, it's not a massive deposit, but it's still a deposit. Now I literally spunked it up the wall. Anyone else feel me? Because it's just the worst fucking thing I ever did.
One of my biggest financial mistakes from my early 20s is something that we do all the time, and it's that I purchased a car that was brand new and it was worth about half of my salary at the time. And what's so funny about it is I literally walked into the dealership being like, I'm gonna buy a used car, because I knew that buying a new car was a bad financial decision, even though I knew pretty much nothing about finance. I was sitting down and comparing my options between the car that was a couple of years old but was the exact same car and the new car. When they broke down what it was going to cost me on a monthly basis, what I looked at was like, wait, but this used car is only going to cost me like $50 less a month than what this new car is going to cost me. But what I really didn't understand was, well, that $50 a month or $75 a month, the opportunity cost of me putting it into a car that was going to depreciate the second that I drove it off of the lot versus me having been in my early 20s and investing that $50 to $75 a month, that didn't even register. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, that's the most common trap people fall for when buying a car. As you can see here, she literally walked in knowing that financing a new car was a bad move. You know, she was just actually looking for a used car, but you know, the dealership are really good at flipping those numbers. They don't talk in terms of the total price. They just, you know, break it down into this monthly payment so it feels smaller. Like, it's just $75 more a month for a brand new car. And when you hear like that, it doesn't sound a lot, but here's the thing, right? $75 a month adds up, and over 5 years long or even longer, that is thousands of extra dollars, and plus higher insurance, and plus, you know, the fact that the car loses value the second you drive it off the lot.
We just focus on what the monthly cost is. It's so easy for us to just go with the more expensive car, not realizing it's going to cost us thousands and thousands of dollars over the long term. And not only thousands of dollars in just the cost of it, but also in the interest that we're paying. And it's so easy to be like, it's only $75 a month, but $75 a month, I was 22, 23 at the time, $75 invested for 42 years, which is the amount of time that it would have taken me to get to retirement. That could have gotten me $310,000 extra dollars in retirement.
And she was totally right. You know, if she had just taken that same $75 a month and invested instead, by the time she's retired, that little bit amount could have easily turned into six figures. And that's the part that hurt the most, right? Not just, you know, the money loss on the car, but the opportunity cost. Like, the dealership play on the short-term psychology, but on a long-term picture is where it really hits you. Financially, a car can seem harmless in the moment, but you know, compound effect of not investing that money is what make it such a huge financial mistake.
It's so easy to just focus on the monthly cost of things, but that's what ends up costing us a lot more money long term, and it's money that we could have been using for other financial goals. So just something to think about if you are in the car market right now.
I won $100,000 after winning America's Next Top Model in 2017, and here is the story of my biggest financial mistake of my life. So after I won the show, they actually gave me a check for $100,000. Boom, baby, I'm rich. And for some reason, my little itty-bitty undeveloped brain thought that meant it was $100,000 post-tax. Like, they obviously already took out the game show tax because I got a check for $100,000. Newsflash, not the case. So anyways, I go and spend the $100,000. I paid $60,000 for an apartment in New York, but I had a roommate paying me back, and then I subleased it and they paid me back. Anyways, it wasn't that horrible of an investment, but obviously not the smartest thing I could have done. And then the rest of the money I spent taking my family on like nice dinners, and I bought one pair of shoes. And anyways, I spent the entire $100,000. I also got a car. Like, yeah, I spent the money, okay?
Man, winning a game show sounds like a dream come true, right? Like you see that big $100,000 check and instantly think that your life about to change. But here's the catch that a lot of people don't realize. Like she say, that just pre-tax money. Uncle Sam still want his cut, so if you are in a 30 to 40% tax bracket, that is like $30,000 to $40,000 right off the top, and that is the same amount that you should have set aside. So what she did there is what most of us would have attempted to do. She went on celebrating new shoes, new car, treating the family to a nice dinner. But the problem is when the tax bill come, there wasn't anything left. And once the IRS is involved, it doesn't just go away. Now she's stuck paying it back with interest and some penalty as well, I'm assuming. Yeah, it really show you that sudden money doesn't really automatically fix your situation if you don't have a plan. Her smartest move should have just set aside like 40% and then just work with what is left. But in that moment with that $100,000 check, all you can think about is spending all of it on all the things that's on your wish list. And yeah, that's definitely something we could learn from and try to avoid it in the future if you and I win a game show or something.
What I should have done was put aside 35 to 40% of the money for taxes so that I'd be ready to pay that. But I didn't do that. I spent it all. And so I spent the next several years paying back the money in taxes to the IRS. Whenever you watch a game show and you see like, oh my God, they won $10,000 or they won a new car or whatever it is, just take that with a grain of salt, because not only are they going to be taxed on the actual cashola that they bring home, but like when you get a free car, you don't really get a free car. You have to pay the taxes and then all the other things that come with winning a prize on television. For the $1 million that you win on Survivor, you probably got to pay like $400,000 in taxes. That's nuts. But anyways, anytime I talk about this, people always freak out and they're like, oh my God, you're such an idiot. It's like, yeah, I was kind of an idiot. That's why I'm making this video in hindsight, okay? Lesson learned, and yeah, always prepare for taxes, everyone.
Here are the 2 worst financial mistakes I ever made. And this is coming from a normal person. I'm not super financially successful, but I'm also not a disconnected rich person who's going to tell you, well, after I sold my 6th property, then I didn't quite get the return on the 7th property. No, it's nothing like that. For people that are closer to my situation, you're starting to have some money that you're looking to save up or invest or whatever. These are 2 of the worst mistakes I ever made. Number 1, sports gambling. Don't do it. The only way I can tell you it's okay to sports gamble is if you have a healthy relationship with gambling, and that is that like you can put the occasional small amount of money on a game to, just kind of have a good time with your friends or something like that. Gambling is an addiction just like any drug, just like anything else. But instead of hurting your body or your brain, it's going to kill your bank account. It is a sickness. It will get into your brain and it will destroy your financial life way faster than you realize. Like my story with gambling was when I first started gambling on sports, I went up $7,000 within the first 4 months, right? The needle was in me. Okay. I was like, oh, I could probably never work again. I could just do this full time, blah, blah, blah. Going insane. Okay. Probably within a month or 2 of gaining that $7,000, I had lost all of it and then also down an additional $1,000. And then ever since that point, all I did was lose. I would win a little bit and then I would lose twice that amount until eventually I lost $12,000. So it's like alcohol. If you can maintain a very healthy, moderate relationship with it, then that's fine. But as soon as you understand that it's becoming a problem, as soon as you understand that it's becoming an addiction, you cannot do it.
Yeah, sport betting is definitely something you don't want to get yourself into. It's usually starting small. You put $20 on a game thinking that it's just for fun, but then you win once. In his case, $7,000. That little dopamine hit make you think that you can just keep beating the system. The next thing you know, you are chasing losses, putting in more money, and it snowballs fast. The reality is that these sporting books and apps are designed for you to lose. The house will always win in a long run. And if you're not careful, it doesn't just, drain your bank account. It mess up your mental health as well. That's why so many people get trapped in this cycle, thinking that the next bet will be the one that pay it all back. Spoiler alert, it usually doesn't happen like that.
I'm telling you right now, it's designed to infect your brain. You will not win. This business wouldn't exist if you were going to win. People don't win. The companies win. The second thing is another form of gambling, the stock market. And I'm not telling people not to invest in the stock market. You should absolutely, if you're able to, put money into the stock market. But don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to become a day trader. That is a mistake that I made, like a lot of people in 2020. I thought, I'm going to become a day trader. I know a lot about stocks. Blah, blah, blah. No, I know nothing. There are people that dedicate their entire lives to studying financials, studying stocks, that are still wrong all the time. If you're one of those people that is your job is to study financial reports and understand companies, then that is when like actual day trading makes sense. The mistake that I made is that all of my money the entire time should have been going into long-term index funds. What I did was I took a bunch of money, I put it into certain stocks. Some of them did all right, so I was like, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And then I put a bunch of money into other stocks and a bunch of them tanked.
Yeah, day trading is not easy. This is one of the traps so many people fall into, especially young people, thinking that they're going to make quick money. You see people posting wins online and it look easy, right? You buy low, sell high, and then boom, you have so many money. But that's just not the reality. And personally, I'm not sure about you, but I see all of those day trading ad on YouTube all the time. People claiming that they're making insane amount of money and showing off their lifestyle. And I always think that if these people really making that much money, why are they selling courses and running a YouTube channel? Like, shouldn't they just be trading and then stacking up that cash instead of teaching other people how to do it? The stock market is unpredictable. One wrong trade and you can just lose thousands of dollars in just a couple of minutes. Even if you think that you have a strategy, the market doesn't really care. Emotion like fear, greed, and FOMO can definitely make you make mistake. And don't forget the fee as well. Commissioning, taxes, they do eat into whatever profit you're making. And most day traders actually lose over time, but you just never going to see that part online. So I guess the takeaway is that try to get rich quick with day trading is just basically gambling. And the real wealth just come from being patient, consistency, and then letting your money grow over time. And just not chasing that short-term thrills in a very volatile market.
Okay? The only stocks that have performed well consistently over time are long-term index funds. So if you're just going to dump your money in and forget about it, which is what you should do unless you are trying to day trade, which again, you shouldn't unless you're trying to make that your long-term career, which you shouldn't, okay? Dump money into ETFs, forget about it, let it rise over time. It's going to crash. It will crash. That's an inevitability. People, doomsday every year. The stock market crash is coming. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay? Keep investing. Keep putting money in, whether the stock market is high, whether the stock market is low. Pick index funds, dump it in, leave it, let it grow over time. The ones I recommend are the S&P, VTI, and VOO. Those are the ones that I'm most heavily invested in. So if you're like, young, wherever you're at in life, if you're starting to get to the point where you have some savings, you're starting to think about investing money, don't do those things. There are two things that I screwed up that I now have the benefit of hindsight to tell you, do not do it.